Hey guys, it's Richie Q again. I don't know if you're used to me already, but I'm going to try to make this one. This is a really interesting one because it has to do with a famous movie, Goodfellas, and this area of East New York was where the Goodfellas, all those guys came from, and this is a story about when those guys were younger too. We were a little younger, but they were young too, and it's called the New Lots Boys versus Hemlock and Sutter. Now, don't forget, if you want all the details, because I can't, I'd love to read it to you, but I can't. I'll screw it up. But if you want all the details, this is Brooklyn Street Fighter surviving the war zone, growing up East New York. This is Brooklyn Street Fighter surviving the war zones. This is Vietnam and then back to Brooklyn, and I told you about Brooklyn and how it really went downhill from there. But this was in 1961. I was 16 years old. In my small little mind, I thought I had a purpose, but apparently I had no purpose. I had no purpose. I had no idea. It happened to be a beautiful, beautiful Friday night. I let me see. I went home. Got home from work, and I was working on the carpet for consumers. I got home. I had a great day. It was a beautiful night, a great day. Wanted to do something. So I went home, and my mother gave me a little something to eat, and I took a shower. I got dressed, and I got dressed in my fight gear, which was like, chino pants, loose fitting, nice shirt, loose fitting, kind of short sleeve shirt. And I always wore my bucks, so I had traction all the time. That's how I thought. That's how a lot of us thought, I think. I don't know how. I'm not going to speak for anyone else, but I always wanted my fight gear. I wanted to be comfortable in my gear. I don't want tight pants. I don't want any of that stuff. Tight shirt, where I can't move, and so I told my mother, listen, I'm going out. I'm going to go out tonight. She said, listen, please don't go with those bums from New Lots Avenue. My friends, she said she always did that. You go where you going with the bums? Why don't you stay home like your brother, my older brother? He stayed home. He was home a lot, So I walked up to the park, and there was a few guys in the park, and then Hi-Ho was in the park. And at that time, by the time I was 16, there was five different age groups on New Lots Avenue. There were the men who never left the corner, hanging out on the corner. They were they were like 45 and up, and then there was the 20-year-olds to 30-year-olds, and then there was like the 18-year-olds, 19 and 20-year-olds, and then there was us who were 15, 16. And then there was younger guys who were like 12, and we call them the diaper gang. But they were tough little kids, and we, and they were like 12, 15. But by this time, we were, my group, 15, 16-year-olds, was starting to integrate with the 19, 20-year-olds, So we were kind of hanging out together, going out together, doing our little mischief thing, So I go to the park, and then Hi-Ho's there with a few of the guys, and they said, we're looking for something to do. Richie, what are you doing? I said, I went to St. Fortunato's church dance last week, and these two girls invited me to this house on Hemlock and Sutter. They gave me an address, and he said, yeah, come there. We're going to be there. There'll be a lot of guys and girls, and you'll have a good time. I said, could I bring my friends? So they said, yeah, absolutely. Bring your friends, So everybody's like, yeah, let's do it, man. Party girls, there's cute little girls in that section of Brooklyn. So we went, we really didn't have a ride. It would take about 40 minutes to walk there, and you had to walk through Cypress Project, which wasn't that smart. But right at that moment, the detective Finn, there was a detective. That's why I don't want to screw this up too bad. A detective used to come around all the time. He was from headquarters, number 1 precinct in Manhattan. He was a ballistic detective. I never knew. I couldn't figure out what this guy wanted. Either he thought we were drug dealers or drug pushers or whatever. I'm not sure what he did. but he took a lot of abuse from my friends, a lot. Well, I gotta go into that to some extent, but I'm like, what the hell is it? This guy is sick. He's mental, you know, because my friends abused his shit. I didn't, but my friends did. So he pulls up at the park, and Hayo goes, "There's our ride, man," you know. So I'll tell you a story. What happened with him? There was a few actually, but one day he pulls up to the park, and we're all in the park. Big Davey, Borgesano, a lot of the guys, you know. And he pulls up, and we're playing punch ball, but Davey and Frankie Borgi are not, you know. So next thing I know, they're in Finn's car, and Borgesano opens the glove compartment, takes the gun out, and puts it to Finn's head. This is the detective, you know. I'm like, oh, man. Davey's like, oh, he's telling us, get over here, get over here. So Davey's telling him, and Detective Finn is like, please, Frankie, put the gun down. Please, Frankie. He's begging Frankie to put the gun down. Now, I mean, the gun could have went off, and knowing Frankie, you know, he's, I don't want to say, you know, but yeah, you know, I'm like, Frankie will shoot this guy. I mean, and then we're all screwed. So Davey's pleading with him. Davey's like, Frankie, do not shoot him. Do not shoot him. So we get up to the car. We're like, Frankie, all right, enough already. Give him back his gun. So Frankie was cool, and he gave him back the gun, you know. Another time, he takes Sandy and the guys, Sandy, Foxy, a few of the guys, to this bar in Queens. And he tells our guys, do you see these guys in this bar? Now, these are real tough guys, you know. So he goes in the bar. He comes out a few minutes later with a bunch of guys. Now Sandy's there, and Sandy don't take shit from nobody. And half the time he was drunk, and he never took shit. So these guys come out, you know, and I guess Finn had told him about us. You know, one guy walks up to the car. He walks up to Sandy's open window, and he goes, "So where you punks from?" So Sandy grabs him, pulls him in the car, and he goes, "New Lots, mother." You know, and Sandy's like, bang, 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 banging his shit at him. He throws him out, gets out of the car, bangs him a little more. They all run in back in the bar. And Finn goes, oh, man, you guys, where have I go? It was story after story after story like that, you know. And then this guy came around, and for about 4 or 5 months, I think. And then the next thing I know, he was gone, you know. I mean, where'd he go? I even asked him once. He took me home last once, and I said, what is with you? I mean, why you take this abuse from these guys? What is wrong? You know, whatever it was, I don't know. So all right, now we take Finn. We say, take us to the Triangle. So we go to the corner. Triangle's the corner where we say New Lots in Ashford, New Lots in Livonia and Ashford, and there's a few of the guys on the corner, Sonny, and you know. So I said, we're gonna go to a party on Hemlock or Sutter, so our car's full now. Why don't you meet us there? So these guys are going to walk. So they're walking. We take the car. So we get there. Finn takes us there, drops us off. He leaves. So now we're waiting for our guys to come. So our guys come. We got about 13 guys, I think. I'm pretty sure it was. You know, so we got 13 guys there, and we and it was in a private house in the basement. Now you had to pay $1 to get in because the owner of the house, his wife's brother, was in jail and he needed bail money. So he had to get some bail money to get him out of jail, and that's reasonable. I don't care. That's good. That stuff went on all the time, you know, in the neighborhood, which was a good thing. I thought it was a good thing, you know. So we go down in the basement, and we're hanging out, and you know there's they had beers and stuff like that, and I got a soda, you know, and then a good song comes on the radio in the still of the night on the whatever they had, a record player comes on the still of the night, and I see this cute girl. I'm like, oh, I got to ask her to dance. And I had no balls when it came to women. I had none, you know, but she was cute. So I said, dancing's not going to be, you know. So I go up to her, I said, would you like to dance? And then next thing I know, this guy comes, he's got 2 sodas in his hand, you know. He said, can I help you? I said, oh, no, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know this is your lady, you know. So he just looked at me. He said, yeah, that's my lady. That's right. So I said, oh, excuse me. I try to be a gentleman, and I said, excuse me, you know. And I went back to the guys, and I knew right then and there, this is not good. This is not going to be good, you know. So so we're hanging out there like this, and then Sandy's getting drunk. He had 6, 7, 8 beers by within 20 minutes. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how long it was, but Sandy's gonna get a little outrageous. So he goes, there are guys coming down. And he's not charging. This guy is not charging these guys. So Sandy goes up to the guy and says, "Listen, you you charged us. You don't charge any of these guys. So the guy goes, "Well, these are guys from the neighborhood." Sandy goes, "I don't give a shit who they are, man. You charged us. So he goes, "Well, you know what? I don't care about you guys. You guys for new lots, you pay or you get out. That's it. You do what you got. We already paid." Sandy goes, "No, I want my money back, man. I'm telling you now, I want my money back." So the guy goes, "Well, fuck you," So the guy backs off and he calls his wife. He says, he tells everybody, any of these guys for new lots mess with you, call me, So everybody's laughing at the guy, like, call you? What are you going to do? So he calls up to his wife. He says, "Hey, man, get me the bat." So Hi-Ho goes, "You bring that bat down, I'm going to stick it up your ass." You understand? So the guy says something, Hi-Ho, wham, grabs him, and then they're wrestling on the floor. Hi-Ho had more balls than brains. he was Hi-Ho is one of them Jewish tough guys. But he had more balls than brains. He was a good fighter. He was a good wrestler. He was strong. But he was always rolling on the floor with somebody somewhere. I mean, but I'll tell you, man, I'd rather have one Hi-Ho with me than any of this gangster wise guys. They're all full of shit. All right, so he said, so now they're fighting, and he knocks out the guy. I don't know what happened. Oh no, I wind up grabbing the guy and throwing him against the wall and throwing him down, and bang, knocking him out. So. Now everybody ran outside. All these people ran outside. All the guys and girls. So now they're in the street. There's a lot of them. There's like 20 people, 20 guys. Maybe more. And there's guys coming. Guys in cars are coming. These are older guys now. Guys in cars are coming. And one guy says, "I want that curly-headed guy." That's Hi-Ho. He had curly hair. So I want that curly-headed guy. Blah blah blah. And he says, "That's me." So Hi-Ho goes to rush him, and the guy goes down, and Hi-Ho is like, "Whoa, did I do that?" He didn't even touch him, Foxy hit him with a beer can in the head, the guy. And the guy went down, and then it started. We started fighting. We started knocking out. I was on my game, man. I was really feeling good. I was on my game. I had my fight gear on, man. So it was really pretty cool. And then... Sonny's fighting. We're all fighting. Sonny, Flash, and Joey Jett, who were smaller guys, man. They were real New Lots boys, man, with all the heart that it took to be a New Lots boy, So they were banging out this one big guy, bigger than both of them, weighed more than both of them together. So they're doing their thing, and this big Cadillac pulls up, big black Cadillac pulls up. These wise guys get out, the trench coat, the hat. Hi-Ho actually walked up to the door, opens the door, and says, "Good evening, gentlemen." That's how he was. He's a comedian, So he says, I can die. He's so cool, So he says, "Good evening, gentlemen," and and they open the door, and this one guy gets out, big guy, and he goes, "Hey, what are these punks from New Lots? Get them out of here. Get these punks from New Lots out of here." Next thing, Hi-Ho's telling me. I wasn't even sure what I was doing, man. I was just knocking out. I knocked out already about 3 or 4 guys. I mean, I'm banging it. By the time I was 17, I never really had a fight anymore. I knocked out everybody. I was so on. Not only did I work out every day, and I deserved to be a tough guy, but you have to have heart too. It's got to come from your heart. You gotta have the heart to do it. You got to have a heart to throw those punches, and I did. I had 2 great hands and 2 great legs. I could bang, and I was quicker than anybody in the area. I mean, I was quick, So I jump over the door. Hi-Ho told me I jumped over the door. Bang! I hit this guy. He falls back into the car, and the car takes off. They're gone. So we're still banging this shit. And all of a sudden, the cops are coming, bang. So we're running back to New Lots Avenue. And we go down across the street to Blake Avenue, make a right. Now we gotta go through Cypress Project, which there's enough of us, I mean, we'll stand up there too. So but it was cool. We got right through the project. When we got to the other side, we kind of calmed down, started to walk on our side of East New York, and this guy goes, yeah, them guys from New Lots, we kicked the shit out of them. Everybody turns and looks at the guy and go, what? Yeah, we kicked this shit out, and he's like, oh shit. Nobody hit him, but everybody goes, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. They kicked him in the ass. He had to go back through Cypress projects. The bros probably ate him alive, man. So they go back. I mean, so we go to New Lots Avenue, and I always do my thing. I get like a vanilla malted and a triangle or something with a terminal. So now. Our guys, a lot of our guys went back that night. I didn't. I went home. It was late. But at like 2 a.m, they said there was about 15 guys on the corner. They beat the shit out of those guys too. And my friends kept. I didn't do it. My friends kept going back every night. They're looking for problems. They're looking. And my friend Sonny's father worked construction, and. The word at the construction site is that the kids from New Lots Avenue went down and they beat some guys up. They beat even the wise guys up, So Sonny's father said, listen, told his son, you can't mess with these guys. They will shoot you, So what my friends do? They went back again and nobody got shot, So, all right, whatever it is, whatever you think of these guys, whatever you think of all those movies that they portray as good fellas, they're not. Okay. Now, these are the guys, Paulie Vario's. This is Paulie Vario's neighborhood. Now, they will shoot you. I got to give you that. I mean, they catch you, they're going to shoot you. Okay. But, you could do the same thing. So, but I didn't want to do that. That's not what I wanted to do, So, so what I did was, they kept going back and back and back. And then this one guy calls Hi-Ho and says, listen, he's from Fulton, Cleveland, this guy, which is another area. He said, my cousin, Patty, lives on Crescent Street, but he's afraid to come out of his house, man. The guy won't come out of his house. And Hi-Ho's going, why? Because you guys are beating up everybody in the street, every young guy. So Hi-Ho goes, no, we're not going to do that again anyway. We stopped doing that, So we're fine. So he says, listen, you mind us coming down to New Lots Avenue and making up with you guys? I said, Hi-Ho goes, there's no problem. Believe me, there's no problem. We don't have a problem. It was a fight. That's what it was. So they wind up driving down and meeting Hi-Ho, and they're saying, is it okay with your friends? And Hi-Ho goes, yeah, if my friends, they said it was okay, it's okay. And John Coneglia was there. John is a wise guy too, and I love John. He was a great guy. I bought cars from his junkyard. He was a great businessman. He made some mistakes, but some big mistakes, all right? So that's another story, The guy, I like the guy. But so they go down and they go to the boys' club. And they go to the Triangle, and then he goes, where are all your friends? He said, they're probably in the boys' club. They go in the boys' club. They see us beating the shit out of each other. We're wrestling and lifting weights and hitting the bags, and beating and boxing and doing all kinds of nasty shit to each other. And John goes, you guys are like gladiators. No wonder why you beat up everybody. You guys do this all the time. They go, yeah, all winter. This is what we do. This is what we do all winter, And Bruno, Jerry, and myself would go down Bruno's basement and do this. We were really in tune to working out the three of us were probably the most intense guys as far as working out and getting better at our skills, So that, I mean, that's it. I mean, that neighborhood actually inspired the Nicholas Pugliese, the book Wise Guys, which produced the movies Goodfellas. Now, this part I got to read because I can't miss this. Most of the top guys, most of the top guys thought, the top mafia guys thought that they were bigger than life and was self-promoting and caught up in the media hype. It always ended in their demise. Take Henry Hill. This is what I could tell you about this piece of shit. He started out as a gopher for the Varios and ended up as a rat and a Hollywood opportunist, all right? These guys were, again, They were wise guys. They weren't tough guys. I'm not saying they're as bad as the politicians today because nobody's worse than these guys, you know. But you know that's that story. It's a cool little story, and you know, again, I'm keeping up with my skills. I'm 16, and I'm really keeping up with my skills, and trying to hang in there, doing the right thing. I really like it, you know. I mean, I worked out every day, and on weekends, you know, we go out, and my young ladies, I look for my young ladies, you know, and I had to get the nerve to ask them out. I was, yeah, you're gonna hear, well, you'll hear a lot of those stories, but I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy it. You know, you got to read the books, but you know, Brooklyn Street Fighters Surviving the War Zone, Brooklyn Street Fighters Surviving the War Zones. Because it's going to get more intense, and don't forget, I go through basic training, and then I had a few fights there. You know, you're going to hear them, and then I got wounded 3 times in Vietnam. Then I come back, and then I go through the street thing all over again. You know, so okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe I'll do another one tonight or tomorrow, but I like to get as many out as I can. And because between this book, I got a lot of stories left. Between this book and the second book, it's a lot of stories, you know. So if you're interested in hearing them, like I like to talk like if I was telling a friend a story, this is exactly how I would tell it, you know, exactly. I mean, I wouldn't, you know, I'm trying not to read anything. I'm trying to just remember, you know. Not that I don't go over it, I do, but I'm trying to remember. But then look where I live. I mean, you know, my mind is clear. My lungs are clear, you know, and I'm happy, you know. I got my animals I rescue. I got 6 dogs, 3 cats, and I'm loving life, man. I'm a musician. I'm doing really well, and thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. I love you guys to death, man. Thanks so much.